What are
But
your
I already I already woke up at 5. Then I already attended another Spanish class.
Wow, you are motivated. 5 o'clock is really, really early to start taking classes. I don't think I could wake up at 5 and start taking class. What time does it get light there? What time does the sun rise?
Pardon?
So,
Sunrise? Not yet. Not yet. So maybe at 7 or so. No, I think so. 7, around 7 a.m.
wow, that's crazy. That's really late. Okay, so sunrise is at 7, and you get up at 5. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I always had trouble. Hmm?
Outside it's still dark.
Yeah, I always trouble getting up when it's still dark out. It's not my
Mhm.
cup of tea.
Um,
Okay.
because yesterday I went to bed very early time at 11.
Okay, so at 11, which
Yeah.
is pretty early. All right, yeah. And so what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Today I need to go to the clinic, ophthalmologist, because yesterday I underwent an operation, eye operation.
Okay,
So my left eye is covered. I can see only with my right eye.
okay. That must be kind of tricky. I assume you haven't been driving, or can you drive with just one eye?
And the ophthalmologist is very close to my house, only 5 minutes
Okay,
on foot.
perfect. Nice. When are you going to take the cover off?
Today.
Oh,
uh,
awesome.
the, the doctor need to check my eye, and after that, he will remove my cover.
Okay, perfect. That's kind of exciting. So just a quick eye, eyelessness, a brief eyelessness maybe. Um, Good. Julieta, welcome to class. Julieta, how's it
Yes,
going?
I'm going well, thanks. How are you?
Remember, I'm doing well, or it's
Hot.
going well.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm doing well as well. Thank you for asking. Julieta, what about you? What did you do today?
I studied and then I went out for dinner and then I'm here.
Okay. And now I'm here. But good.
And now
Where did you go to dinner?
to a bar and I had a panino.
I'm not sure what that is. Panino?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Like sandwich,
yes, it's like a
Oh,
sandwich, but
panino.
yeah.
okay. It's funny. We'd call that a panini, I think, in the
Oh,
United States at least.
panini is plural. Panino is singular. Yes.
That's so funny. Um, wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they call them paninis in the U.S. So
Yes, I know they call it panini, but it's plural.
that's interesting. I didn't know that. I
Mhm.
guess you learn something new every day. Um, cool. And yeah, I guess that's good. And Heidi, what's the first thing you're gonna do when you take your eye patch off, or when you can see with both eyes again?
Nothing to do.
Nothing. Okay. Um, and do you have any plans for the rest of the day today?
Yeah, I need to go to the supermarket to have no, some ingredient to get some ingredient for dinner.
Okay. What are you gonna cook? Do you know?
I'm thinking about some Japanese food, Japanese dishes today.
Okay. All right. And Julieta, what about tomorrow? What are you gonna do tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow I have classes in the afternoon. Yes, in the afternoon. And before I had to study.
Okay. So you're gonna be studying and you're taking classes, but that's not too
Mhm.
bad. Okay. Um, But good. And so it looks like it just might be the three of us for now. Let's get started on today's class. We're going to be talking a little bit about fairy tales. Heidi, can you read the title and the next few lines?
Okay, fairy tales. In today's class, we will talk about fairy tales. Read a section of fairy tales. Make up our own fairy tales.
Good. Okay. Really good job. And Jonathan, welcome to class. Jonathan, how are you doing?
Hello, Joshua. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Okay.
And all right, good. So let's go on.
I just came because the topic, just like a little bit interesting, the fairy tales.
Yeah.
It caught
Okay.
me. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm glad that it was interesting. I like this class. It's fun. People get to be a little bit more creative, which is nice. So hopefully you enjoy it. Jose, welcome as well. Jose, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks for asking, Joshua.
Okay, nice.
Nice
And
to see you.
nice to see you as well. It's always a pleasure. Let's have Jose, can you ask Julieta the first question?
Yes. What is a fairy tale?
A fairy tale is a story with a lot of magic characters, most of the time with a happy ending.
Nice. The happy ending. Good. That's definitely a really good definition. All right. And let's have Ismail. Welcome to class as well. Ismail, how are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you, Joshua. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And all right, good. So let's have Julieta. Can you ask Heidi the next question?
Do you know any fairy tales from your country?
From Japan, yeah, we have a lot of fairy tales.
Okay. And so, can you give us an example?
For example, Japanese raccoon is a very bad animal. Sometimes they cheat people. So once raccoon came to the house, in the house only old couple was living. Then that time only old woman was in the house. He cheated her, and finally he killed her. Then the old man got angry. He looked for the animal. Then finally he killed the raccoon.
Wow, that's a crazy fairy tale. All right. So that sounded good, though.
Almost all Japanese fairy tale, the ending is very sad or strange, not a happy ending.
Yeah, right? That's incredible, though. I've heard of another one, I think Ken told me, a Japanese fairy tale, which was pretty cool, too. We're definitely not a happy ending, though. But all right. And Marcia, welcome to class. Marcia, how's it going?
Oh, thank you. I'm great. And you?
Nice. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And Marcia, I don't know if I've had you in class before. Marcia, where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Okay, from Brazil. Perfect. Well, yeah. Good to have you in class. And let's have Heidi. Can you ask Ismail the next question?
Ismail, do you have a favorite fairy tale?
I am not sure actually, Heidi. I have many fairy tale, but which one is my favorite? I don't know. But I like fairy tales. it creates many dreams in my head, and they are very useful, especially for children. Creativity.
Nice. Maybe we'd say children's creativity.
Children's
Could use the
creativity.
possessive there. I think that would be good. Okay. I'm not sure actually how do you put I have many fairy tales. Instead of saying I have many fairy tales, I know many
I know.
fairy tales. Which one's my favorite? I don't know. But I like fairy tales. Yeah, I think that's good. That works, Ismail. And welcome to class. We've got Luca. Luca, how's it going?
Ciao, I'm great. And you? It's my
Good.
first lesson.
Nice. Okay. Well, welcome to class.
Thank you.
And yeah, it is good to have you. Okay. And does anybody have any questions here? Okay. Let's go on to the next page. And let's start out with this. And let's start with Jonathan. Can you read the title and these words?
Okay, Joshua. Vocabulary: irony, curse, villain, setting, heroine, narration, narrator, climax, supernatural, wicked.
Nice.
Wicked.
Wicked.
Wicked. Okay. Wicked.
I think you did a good job. Maybe narration.
Narration. Okay.
And narrator.
Okay. Narration and narrator. Okay.
Yeah.
Hero,
And then heroine.
heroine. Okay.
And irony.
Irony.
Yeah. Irony. Good. That sounded great. And does anybody have any questions about any of these words?
Joshua, what does villain mean?
What does villain mean? Does anybody know?
Villain in.
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
In my opinion, villain. I don't know this word, but I think it means someone who is very, very bad inside the history.
Yeah. Okay. And this is good. Remember, history is past, and a story is like a fictitious thing that happens. So remember, it's fiction is a story, and a history is the past. It's like something you learn in school is history. So just remember the difference between history and a story. Because in English they are very different. And yeah, we don't use them as interchangeably as they're used in other languages, maybe.
Joshua, and fictitious necessarily means that is something unreal?
Yeah. And so actually a story doesn't have to be unreal. Maybe, yeah, a story could be.
Oh, Joshua,
Yes.
I think I learned that history is a true history. It's something
What was that?
real. Is
Yes.
it correct? History
Yeah.
is something that really happened.
Exactly. And a story actually can be something that's real. So a definition that I have here is an account of imaginary or real people and events told for entertainment.
Probably that it isn't an important fact, or it's just.
Thank you.
It could be an important fact. So this is the definition that I got here. So it's a tricky one to say. So it's an account of an imaginary or real people and events told for entertainment. So hopefully that kind of makes sense for everybody. And yeah, somebody who's very bad in a story would be a villain. Okay. And does anybody else have any other questions here?
What is wicked? Wicked.
Okay. Does anybody know what wicked means?
Like witch,
Magic.
that very bad, something do the very bad things.
Yeah. So someone who does very bad things would be somebody who's wicked.
Ah.
Oh, in my opinion, sometimes villain is almost do almost the same things as the wicked.
Yeah. So a villain is a wicked character.
Yes.
So this is just an adjective. It's describing, and villain is the noun. So a villain is wicked. So somebody who is wicked does very bad things. But good. Yeah, really similar. Any other questions? Any other questions here? Okay. And let's have a sentence. Let's have Jonathan. Can you make a sentence using setting?
Setting. Actually, I'm not really sure about the meaning of setting. I'm just.
Okay. Who thinks they can make a sentence using setting?
The story was setting in a countryside.
Okay, really close. We would say the story was set in a countryside.
Setting,
You could say the setting of the story.
the setting was a wonderful landscape.
That would work. Yeah. So the setting was a wonderful landscape, or you could say the setting of the story was a countryside. But if we say it was set in a countryside. So just more of a verb. But good. That was great. And let's have maybe one more. Jose, can you make a sentence with curse?
Okay, the character said a curse. No?
The character said a curse.
A curse, yes. Maldition, no? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The character said a curse. I was just thinking for more context.
Yes.
And maybe we could
said,
say cursed the protagonist.
Okay, curse the protagonist. Okay.
Was angry. The character cursed
Okay.
the protagonist because he or she was angry. Or
Okay.
jealous, maybe.
Jealous.
But yeah, so
Okay.
that's good. And that's just for context, but your sentence was solid. Does anybody have any last questions before we move on to the next page? Okay, and let's skip that. Let's skip that too. Let's try here. And so let's have Luca. Can you read this first paragraph?
Okay. A fairy tale is a type of short story that typically features European folklorist fantasy characters, such as dwarves, elves, fairies, giants, gnomes, goblins, mermaids, trolls, or witches, and usually magic or enchantments. Fairy tales may be distinguished from other folk narratives, such as a legend, which generally involve belief in the veracity of the events described, and explicit moral tales, including beast fables. Yeah.
Good. You did a good job there.
Oh my God.
You did a really good job, Luca. Maybe
Thank you.
fables.
Fables.
Yeah, and then explicitly.
Can you repeat?
Explicitly.
Explicitly.
Yeah, so explicitly. That was good. Described.
Described.
Dwarves.
No, it's difficult. Dwarves.
Good. That was perfect.
I know.
Folkloric.
Folklorist. Folkloric.
Folkloric. Yeah. Typically.
Typically.
Good. Okay. And does anybody have any questions about anything on this first page? Or this first paragraph. Sorry, guys. Any questions on the first paragraph?
No, not really. It's fine.
It's
okay. Good. Marcia, can you read the second paragraph?
Oh, I'll try.
Okay.
In less technical context, the term is also used to describe something blessed with unusual happiness, as in a fairy tale ending, a happy ending, or fairy tale romance, though not all fairy tales end happily. Colloquially, a fairy tale or a fairy story can also mean any far-fetched story or tall tale. It is used especially of any story that not only is not true, but could not possibly be true.
Good. You did a really good job.
Thank you.
Impressive with colloquially. Yeah, blessed some of your ED endings. You did a really great job with. Some things, maybe fairy story. Can you repeat fairy story?
Fairy story.
Good. So it just felt like that E at the end sometimes was missing, but that was good. Maybe far-fetched.
And that impossible word, far-fetched.
Yeah. Far-fetched. But no, I mean you did a good job with it. Really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
But what is the meaning?
Okay. And Giulietta, can you explain what far-fetched means?
Far-fetched means something that's unrealistic. Something that is unrealistic.
Good. Yeah, it's something that's unrealistic.
Difficult
Do you remember?
to believe. Yes.
Yeah, difficult to believe. Perfect. And Giulietta, do you remember kind of the story behind Far-Fetched? Do you remember the story behind it?
Yes, far means something that is far away, and fetched means when you can take something from. So far-fetched means something that came from far away, that is far away from your.
Yeah, so something brought back
Mhm.
from far away. And so a long time ago, when people were traveling, they would come back from far away with these incredible stories that people found it really difficult to believe. And so they would always call those stories far-fetched because they were brought back from a long way away. So which is kind of where the term comes from. And Julieta, Jonathan wants to know why you know everything. Can you explain, Julieta?
I am a Verbling student, veteran Verbling student. That's fine.
Oh man.
Okay, Juliet.
She's been in this class a couple of times
Mm.
as well. But good. That was great. Does anybody have any other questions here on this page? Any other questions?
Oh, yes. I didn't pay attention, but I'd like to know what dwarfs mean.
You'd like to know what means?
Dwarfs in the first paragraph.
Ah, can you repeat dwarves? Dwarves.
Dwarfs. Dwarfs.
Good. That's close. It's like saying war. So say dwarves, but with a D at the
Dwarf.
beginning. Dwarves.
Dwarves.
Dwarfs.
Good. That was perfect. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
And who could explain what a dwarf is?
Dwarf is a small creature, and like in the Snow White. Snow White needed to live in the forest. That time, 7 small kind of people, creature, took care of her.
Small people, pretty much.
Not people, but kind of creature.
7 dwarfs are very famous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood. Thank you.
Good. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. And so this is good. Any other questions?
No, no.
And we've got one more paragraph, and let's have Heidi. Can you read this paragraph?
Okay. Now I can use only only one eye, so it's not good, but it's okay. In cultures where demons and witches are perceived as real, fairy tales may merge into legends, where the narrative is perceived both by terror and hearers as being granted in historical truth. However, unlike legends and epics, they usually do not contain more than superficial references to religion and actual places, people, and events. They take place once upon a time rather than in actual times.
Nice. Really good reading. Especially with just one eye. That was good. Only a couple small things. Merge.
Merge.
Good. And then maybe perceived.
Perceived.
And references.
References.
Close. We don't really have that second E. So that's kind of silent. So it's references. References.
References.
Yeah. Good. References. And very nicely done. Does anybody have any questions on this paragraph?
Joshua, I couldn't understand the difference between or fairy tales and the other stories or legends?
Okay. This is. And who can answer? What are the differences between fairy tales and legends? Who can answer?
Julieta.
And anybody can speak up if you're willing.
I think the man that I forgot the name now, the ho ho ho, is a legend.
Santa Claus?
Santa Claus is a legend.
Santa Claus.
But I don't know how to explain fairy tales. Something that is, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure if Santa Claus would be a legend. I think.
No. Loch Ness is a legend. Santa Claus is not true. Not a legend.
So I think Loch Ness would be a better example. The Loch Ness monster.
Yes.
Loch Ness.
And fairy tales are about fairies, probably.
Yeah, and so fairy tales are
completely unreal. Bad legends have something of reality, or I don't know, we can say.
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
Are based on.
Joshua, the legend, it is about important personage, no? About important character, no?
Yeah. So legends are often about famous historical people.
Okay.
Legends have some historical, maybe, truth. Or they have imagined historical truth.
Some
They
historical
have imagined historical truth. So people believe in legends where fairy tales people don't believe. So King Arthur. King Arthur is a legendary figure because people imagine that there was once a person named King Arthur who did certain things. Whereas, you know, Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, those are more fantastical characters. That's more tied to fairy tales, I would imagine. But like they said, in cultures where demons and witches are perceived as real, fairy tales may merge into legends. So it depends on the people who are listening to the story. So if the people who are listening believe that the story is correct, then the story could be more of a legend than a fairy tale. But the definition does shift depending on who's hearing the story. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not sure. Was it Ismail? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Joshua, as I understand, the reality is a defining cause when we accept a story as a fairy tale or legend, then it is close to reality, we can say. Legend?
Yeah.
Okay.
So legend is, like they say here, grounded in historical truth. And it depends a lot on who's telling the story and who's listening to the story. So depending on the tellers and the hearers, it can be a legend, or it could be a fairy tale which take place once upon a time rather than an actual time. So they don't refer to actual places, people, or events. So fairy tales. Fairy tales usually do not contain more than superficial references
Mm-hmm.
to religion and actual places, people, and events. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yes. No.
Does anybody have any other questions here?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
And let's try this. Let's have Julieta, can you ask Jonathan the first question?
Jonathan, what are some typical fairy tale characters?
Okay, let me think. And people with superpowers or supernatural powers. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, people with superpowers or supernatural powers.
Also animals, probably animals.
Mm-hmm. We
And different creatures, like was
definitely different.
mentioned before, so like giants, gnomes, goblins, mermaids. Yeah, I don't know how to name them. So
Yeah.
creatures. Yeah, creatures of the forest.
Gnomes, goblins,
Witches, mermaids, trolls, etc.
Creatures of the forest. For sure, I think that's good. That was really good. And so, let's have Jonathan. Can you ask Jose the next question?
Sure. Okay, Jose, what is the difference between a fairy tale and a legend?
I write Joshua in the before, no, in the last seat.
Yeah.
We're just.
So, in summary, can you answer one more time?
Yes. Fairy tale is about a history that is not real.
Okay, and would we say history? What word would we use here?
History, no, story.
Yeah, a story.
A story.
So try saying
a story.
Yeah. Good.
A story.
So it's about a story
that
isn't real?
Not real. Okay. Yeah, and fairy tale give a lot of importance to a character, no? The legend.
The legend, you said, gives a lot of importance to a character?
No, the legend is about important history, no?
Yeah, a legend is about a important story. I'm not exactly sure what you mean here. Maybe who can help him out?
It is about a traditional story, no?
Okay.
According to the dictionary,
I think it's about a traditional story.
Come on. There is some echo.
Sorry, go ahead.
A story from a time in the past that was very long ago.
Basically,
that was very long ago.
The legend is the setting of a legend is based on a historical period, but the story maybe is not true.
No, it's not true.
No, not necessary.
It's based on a historical period, but okay, means not true. Okay, might not be true.
Good, exactly. So there's some level of fabrication to legends as well. So they're not necessarily true. Yeah, some facts mixed with some, falseness, I suppose you could say. That's exactly right. Okay, good. And yeah, so I think, huh?
There is a cartoon now that it called the Five Legends or Seven Legends, I don't remember, about Santa Claus, the rabbit of Easter, and and it's not it's a cartoon. It's not no, they are not legend probably, but
Interesting.
Mm.
Okay. So I think to some extent Santa Claus could be a legendary figure. Claus was perhaps real in a small town kind of area. So we'd have, something that was on a small scale that's completely transformed itself in modern retellings. So it's kind of a legend that has become more of a fairy tale. So I think, yeah, you could say he was a legendary figure. But yeah, you can also have some transfer of meaning, especially with cartoons that call things legends when, maybe they're a little bit more fairy tale-esque. And so the definition is always kind of fluid. But that was good. That's a really good point. Good comment, too. I think we were with Jonathan. Can you ask Jose the next question?
Okay, sure. Jose, what is another colloquial meaning for fairy tale? Fairy tale.
I think that the another colloquial meaning for fairy tale is fable, or no?
Okay,
Fable.
Fable.
a fable. I think it's a little bit different. So a colloquial meaning is something that's used in everyday speech. So how is fairy tale? How are the words fairy tale used in everyday speech? So when it doesn't have to do with actual fairy tales. So when people aren't talking about literal fairy tales,
a joke? No.
Joke?
Fairy tale?
No.
Stories.
Stories? Okay.
yeah, so yeah, we can go back. It's in this paragraph. You've got some kind of examples.
Mm-hmm.
Fairy story.
Story.
Yeah, a far-fetched story or tall tale.
Told
So
you.
something that's not true.
Romance? No.
Yeah, you could say that. So these are ways right up the beginning. So something blessed with unusual happiness would be one. Like a fairy tale romance,
Fairy tale
or
romance.
a fairy tale ending. Those are colloquial ways you can use it. So you're not talking about an actual fairy tale, you're just talking about a good ending. And you could also tell your friend, if maybe somebody's lying or telling you stories, you can say, "Stop telling me fairy tales." Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay. They have a fairy tale. So those would be two colloquial expressions that you could use with fairy tale that don't actually mean or refer to fairy tales. Okay, and what about the next one, Jose? Can you ask
Okay.
Luca the next question?
Where do fairy tales normally take place?
In the forest, in the woodland,
Okay.
or it depends about the question, or in the night for kids.
Okay. Now, so yeah, when you're telling fairy tales, usually it's you tell them at night to kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Thinking of fairy tales, I think on Woodland.
Okay, so you think of the woods, the forest. I think this is good. Okay, perfect. And does anyone have any questions on this page? Any questions here? Okay. Let's try our own, and let's start with Marcia. Can you read the title and the directions?
Yeah, of course. Practice. Make a fairy tale. Talk to your classmates and try to make your own fairy tale.
Good. And I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. Talk to your classmates.
Talk to your classmates and try to make your own fairy tale.
Good. Okay. Really well
Can
done.
I continue reading?
Yeah, so let's start with you, Marcia. Where does the story take place? Where's our story going to take place?
Where? In castles.
Okay, maybe we wouldn't be talking about castles generally. We'd want to say one. So how would you change that sentence? More specific.
More specific. And in a distant land.
Okay, so in a distant land, maybe in a castle. So instead of saying in castles, which would be just a little bit too vague, we could say in a distant land, in a castle. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Marcia, can you ask Giulietta the next question?
Giulietta, who are the good characters in your story?
There is a princess.
What's her name?
Elena.
Okay, Elena. Who else? Who else is a good character?
There's a prince.
Okay, what's his name?
His name is Andrew.
Okay. So prince and a princess. Anybody else?
Do you want us to talk about the prince?
No, so I was still asking Giulietta if there's any other good characters.
Okay.
Is there anybody else?
Why not a talking dog or a speaking dog? I don't know how to say
Nice, a talking dog.
A talking dog? Yeah.
Yeah, a talking dog named... What's the talking dog's name?
Dwarf. Dwarf?
Nice, a talking dog named Dwarf.
Dwarf.
Oh. Okay, good. I like that. And, all right, Giulietta, can you ask Heidi the next question?
Heidi, who are...
Josh.
Yes?
Just one question. Why didn't you use called instead of name? What's the difference when you use named or called?
It's the same.
Okay.
So people call me Josh. So that's what they say to me. But my name is Josh. But it's the same to say I am called Josh. I am named Josh. So it's slightly different, but it means the same thing when you
Uh,
use it in this way.
But I have a question about this. So can I say my parents call me Josh? Call me, yeah? Yeah, is it right? Or my parents name me?
So my parents named me in the past tense.
Okay.
So when I was born, they named me Josh, but they call me
Oh.
Josh.
They called me
I
Josh.
think it's different. For example, they call me Joe, like that. It can be a nickname.
Yeah, you can also say my friends call me Jose, but you wouldn't be named Jose. So for nicknames, you would use call and not name. So yeah, my friends call me Jay, maybe. I don't know. But you couldn't say my friends name me or I'm named Jay because my name is Josh. So slightly different, but oftentimes they're used interchangeably. So hopefully that makes sense. And Giulietta, can you ask Heidi this question here?
Who are the good character? Oh, sorry. Who are the evil characters in your story?
Maybe old witch living in the forest. She's already 19 years old, so she can use any magic.
She's magical?
Yes, because she's a witch.
Okay.
Then she can use any magic. For example, she can change herself to young lady, or she can use change other person to the frog or dog or something.
Okay, so she can change herself and she can change other people into like frogs or dogs, for example. That's good.
Can I add an evil?
Excuse me?
Can I add an evil character too?
Yeah, for sure.
The entire castle.
The entire castle
Mm-hmm.
is evil as well. So the castle's evil. Maybe we could say the castle is haunted. Right? Is that kind of what you're trying to say? It's haunted?
No. The castle is a character like the male of the witches. Dragon? No.
Do you mean the castle is alive?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Kind of entity, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so the castle is evil as well. We could say that. So it's a living evil castle. That sounds terrifying. Okay. And Heidi, just one small thing. It sounded like you said the witches. Just make sure it's singular if you're saying she is magical, so the witch living in the woods or in the forest.
I didn't say witches.
Okay, maybe I misheard you then. Perfect then. Good job. Heidi, can you ask Ismail the next question?
Okay, Ismail, what problems that do the main character have?
The main character have a marriage problem with the princess. His father and mother are against this marriage between the prince and the princess.
Okay, so the main character has a marriage problem with the prince's parents.
Princess parents are against this marriage.
Okay, so the prince's parents are against the marriage. All right. And any other problems? Are there any other problems that they have? Maybe with the witch or the haunted castle?
they put the princess inside the castle to avoid the marriage.
Inside castle. Wow, that sounds scary.
Yeah.
Then-
And the talking dog sings opera all night.
oh no. Opera all night. Does he have a good voice at least?
No,
And he
it's
or
a
she.
hell for the people.
It's hell for the people. Okay, good. That sounds awful. That's some talking dog. All right, and so what kind of help will the main character get? Maybe Jonathan. What kind of help will the main character get?
Probably he will get help from a. I don't know how to say that. And with the army,
From the army?
or a force or a legion of talking dogs. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, so from the army and a legion of talking dogs.
Talking dogs.
Do they all sing opera?
Yeah, yeah, would be right. Would be
Okay.
according with the story.
Oh my goodness, that sounds. And so I guess let's move on to the next question. Jonathan, can you ask Jose the last question?
Jose, the last. How will the story end? How will the story end?
Okay. At the end of the story, the army absolve or set free the princess.
We'd say,
The princess of the castle, no?
yeah, we'd say set the princess free.
Set the princess free
Maybe from the castle.
from the castle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but-
so-
and they have a marriage.
Okay. They will get married.
They will get married.
Okay. That's good. So Princess Elena and Prince Andrew will become married. Or will be married. All right. And so
They will.
what? I think this is good. We kind of left out the witch, which is fine. We're just about out of time, though. I do have a class right after this. So if you guys want to join that class, I'd love to have you. But if not, have a really good afternoon. Does anybody have any last questions?
No.
No. It's
Clear.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming in again, and have a really great night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you, Joshua. It was a wonderful
Bye, guys.
class.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye bye.